부터 젠트유 하나치 집필 포스터 하나 딜라스쿠 센터라. Good morning, everybody. I would like to welcome in this program 61st Buddha Jayanti program hosted by Newa Cultural Society of Alberta. Welcome, everyone. Now, I'd like to invite President of NCSA, Dr. Hemanta Joshi, to come to the stage. आज NCSA में नाय बाजू Dr. Hemanta Joshi आज अपने योने जिम्बोला करा. तो जी खाना तो जीव तो बुद्ध जयंती कार्यक्रम में विशिष्ट पार्टी जाइजोंडु वेलकमी खा पूज्य मेते भन्ते अथे पूज्य गुरुमा बोडी. In this program we have special guests here, Venerable Mete Bante and Venerable Guruma Bodhi. Venerable Mete Bante is a born humanitarian Buddhist monk, beloved Buddhism teacher around the world, and an inspiration toward compassion in action, having built Bodhi Institute Peace Education Center, Priest Corps, Laundry, 2 primary school, Meta School, and Karuna Girls College, educating over 1,200 impoverished rural village children in Buddha's birthplace, Lumbini, Nepal. He has received award for preserving Buddhism in Buddha's birthplace, Lumbini. Now, I'd like to invite Venerable Mete Bante to have our seat in our front desk. Now, I'd like to introduce about Guruma Bodhi. Guruma Bodhi is a dedicated humanitarian with a strong passion and history of working on environmental and animal rights causes. She is Venerable Methe's Dharma Mother, a Buddhist nun, and an environmental scientist with the Canadian federal government. She is the founder, the president, and one of the teachers of Canadian Engaged Buddhism Association, CEBA, a small organization seeking ways to apply the insights from meditation practice and Buddha's teachings to help relieve suffering and injustice, and which also support the Metea Family Project in Lumbini, Nepal. Now, I'd like to invite Guruma Bodhi also to the stage. NCSO President Dr. Hemanta Joshi no सम्मानीय रूपे मेते साखीपुताओ गुरुमा बोडी यादव खाता ओ सोवेनियर देशना जी जी इना बयान चला. Now I like to request Venerable Bhante Sakhiputa and Venerable Bodhi Guruma to light up this harness in order to officially start our program.
सजिलै एकछिन
Nai Baju, Jayanti Joshi, Puja Mekri Sakyaputa or Bodhi Gurmaya Yakukusumai. Thank you, Dr. Joshi, Venerable Mekri Sakyaputa and Venerable Bodhi Guruma. Actually, for Chikizarong, Nocha, Biadita Jin, Nai Baju, Jayanti Joshi at the Jin Inabe. Now I'd like to request Dr. Jayanti Joshi to present a short speech about today's program and Buddha Jayanti.
Today about the Papi, Mise Sakyaputa, Guruma Bodhi, Seva संस्थाया नायक जुजोकी अले सी नेवा कल्चरल सोसाइटी ऑफ अल्बर्टा जुजोकी अले मेमेपी पा थोयागु थो नेवा कल्चरल सोसाइटी ऑफ अल्बर्टा आए नैना तो बुद्ध जयंती 25 से 61 बुद्ध जयंती कार्यक्रम माने आयो तो सांस्कृतिक ज्यादोले सिक्किमका जुगु जुनो बोलाने से लसकुसा अले स्वागत ठुले रेया जी जुगु चित्रम नोचो जी इंग्लिश तेल याना वेनरेबल मेत्या साक्यपुटा बोधि गुरुमा गेस्ट्स एंड MCSA members जोजलपा warm greetings. Happy Buddha Jayanti. On behalf of Newa Cultural Society of Alberta, I would like to welcome all of you in today's cultural event to celebrate 2561st Buddha Jayanti festival. You know, Newa Cultural Society of Alberta's main goal is to practice, promote, and preserve Newa culture and traditions here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada for the current and future generations. Since its establishment in April 22, 2013, we are organizing various projects and important cultural events like Buddha Jayanti in the community annually. In this context, today we are here to celebrate the 2561st Buddha Jayanti cultural event. This is the 4th Buddha Jayanti celebration cultural event of NCSA in Edmonton. Each year, on the day of Swaya Puni, the full moon day of flowers, that is on the full moon day of May, we celebrate Buddha Jayanti as a cultural festival. In this day, we observe birth anniversary of Shakyamuni Gautam Buddha, commemorate his enlightenment and Mahaparinirvana date. We pay special attention to Buddha's teachings and recite ancient verses. Buddha Jayanti festival is not only of Newa or Nepali people of Nepal, but also a festival of the people of the world. Meanwhile, at the first conference of the World Fellowship of Buddhist held in Colombo, Sri Lanka in May 1950, a decision was made to celebrate Buddha Jayanti in the world on the full moon day on May each year. Buddha was born in Lumbini to a royal family. His birth name was Siddhartha Gautam. According to the legend, he walked 7 steps as soon as he entered in the world. At the age of 29, he abandoned royal life and family and began his spiritual quest for enlightenment after seeing the extent of human sufferings outside the wall of his luxurious palace. After a long time of meditation, he attained Nirvana in Kushinagar of India at the age of 80. His well-known 5 principles known as Panchashil and his teachings on the path to enlightenment known as Dharma Chakra or Dharma Wheel are very important to us in relieving human sufferings and maintaining peace in the world. His teachings are more important in today's world than 2500 years ago, as in today's world, violence, conflicts, and wars are taking place every day in nook and corner of the world. If we can follow and promote his teachings of non-violence and message of peace effectively in every walk of life in the world, we will be able to control violence, conflicts, and wars for peaceful living. In fact, Buddha was a superhuman of the world. He was considered as 8th incarnation of Lord Vishnu. He was also a great spiritual teacher on whose teachings Buddhism was founded in the world. We will learn more about the importance of Buddha Jayanti and Buddha's teachings from our distinguished guest shortly. I hope you will enjoy today's cultural event and learn refresh about Buddha, Buddha Jayanti, and Buddha's teachings. Finally, I would like to thank all of you, especially our chief guests, for accepting our invitation to join us in celebrating today's 2561st Buddha Jayanti celebration cultural event. Swag. Thank you.
Nai Baju, Dr. Joshi at the Ekwe Subai. Thank you so much, Dr. Joshi, for your short speech. Tukili pa ji Buddha Puja ya lagi ji inabiai. Fuksin napa Buddha Puja Suryana di ji Puje Meta Sakya Puta o Puje Bodhi Guruma. Wake up sa Buddha Puja Yandi Nungka. Chikping ukili pa laina chuna dia. Chikpisano Buddha Puja Yandi da ji inabiai.
Yes. 합쳐서 저도 두 대다. 몇 소백이네. 이제 नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्दस्स नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्दस्स इति पिसो भगवारहं सम्मा सम्बुद्धो विचारण संपन्नो सुगतो लोकविदु अनुत्तरो पुरीसधम्मसारथि सखा देवमनुसार बुद्धो भगवति स्वाखातो भगवता धम्मो संदिठिको अकालिको यही बसिको पनैको अच्युतं वेदितमो विन्युहिति सुपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संघो उजुपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संघो न्यायपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संघो स्वामीशीपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संघो यदिदं चत्तारि पुरीसयूनानि अथ पुरीसपुद्गला येस भगवतो सावक संघो आहुनेयो पाहुनेयो दक्षिणेयो अंजलिकरणीयो अनुत्तरं पुण्यखेतं लोकसाति इदं नो ज्ञातिनं भवतु सुखिता हन्तु ज्ञातयो इदं नो ज्ञातिनं भवतु सुखिता हन्तु ज्ञातयो इदं नो ज्ञातिनं भवतु सुखिता हन्तु ज्ञातयो
원부터 भजन मे जिसन यने न्योवेटनहरु उक्यो लागि जे थन यने मञ्च सदासुना बाजु प्रवीण श्रेष्ठ ओ बाजु दिपेश श्रेष्ठ थुकी संगीत ब्यादिम मयजु समृद्धि श्रेष्ठ वेब पिन तसन यने धाते जे इना भ्याए Thank you very much, Mr. Pravin Shrestha, Dr. Dipesh Shrestha, and Ms. Samriti Shrestha for your excellent performance about with the song. Question सुरु रहा भगवान बुद्ध बुली उमेर ढुबले अले छुपुनी कुनु थुकी चाहिँ मल्टिपल क्वेशन थु खाना सुन्दु भगवान बुद्ध बुली उमेर ढुबले छुपुनी कुनु छोटा से महापरिनिर्वाण जुया दिउदु जुया दुख आन्सर लिपत्नी इंग्लिश ने जिताय माने भगवान बुद्ध गुली उमेर डुबले छुपुनी कुनु हो छुथा से महापरिनिर्वाण जुया बिजाउ ख The question is, please tell me the age and the day that is lunar in lunar calendar. There's a full moon day. He had Mahaparinirvan. Please tell me the date and the name of that day, date, day, and the place where Buddha had Mahaparinirvan. Buddha was died. Any answer now? Sarat Chitrakar.
Yeah, Buddha at the age of 80 in Kushinagar, Vaisak Purnima.
Correct. Buddha had...
No. Actually, we need timing as well. At what time he died? No, just kidding.
Okay, the answer, correct answer. Buddha had Mahaparinirvan at the age of 80 at Vaisak Purnima. It's called Swaya Puni also in Newari calendar. And that's in Kushinagar, India. Buddha was born in Nepal, Lumbini, and he was died in Kushinagar, India. Please come forward, Sir Chitrakar. Before I give you this prize, I would like to say something about the program. Just 1 minute. Anything, your introduction? You like? No? Okay. Thank you so much. I would like to request Honorable Venerable Bodhi Guruma to come in the stage and do the meditation. And we all do meditation together with Venerable Bodhi Guruma.
So we will practice mindfulness of breath meditation, also called Anapanasati. So this is a meditation for anybody at any time. You just find a way to focus on your breath, and I'll guide you through this. So you can gently close your eyes and become comfortable in your seat.
Thank you very much, Venerable Bodhi Guruma. Now I would like to request Venerable Mithaya Sankhyaputa to come in the stage and have Dharma Desana and Buddha's teaching. Venerable Mithaya Sankhyaputa.
Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. यहाँहरू सबैलाई सँगसँगै Neva Sanskritic Samaj enlightenment and the passing away of Gautama the Buddha is a strange coincidence for me. I do come from the place where he was born, Lumbini. And I have had the fortune to celebrate the Buddha Jayanti, or the birth of the Buddha, up until now in his birthplace. Every year on the full moon day of Basak, I would be busy and running from 3 a.m. to almost 2 a.m. the next day, giving talks, participating in ceremonies. This year I thought I had a good escape, a good excuse. Tucked away here in Edmonton, in Riverdale, I went for a walk in the woods, listened to the birds, and I felt I could have the day just for myself to think of the Buddha. But you can't help. You do feel an inkling. You do feel the need for cultural reminders. So it's a very interesting occasion for me to be invited here. I must say I accepted it very reluctantly. I was emotionally blackmailed to come here because it also happens to be the Mother's Day. So my Dharma mother here, my Dayaka Amma here, she said, you should come. And dare I say, one should not ever think of offending their mothers on the Mother's Day. Neva Cultural Society in a nutshell, they are an ember from the great bonfire that existed since millennia ago in Nepal. For several thousand years, the region of India, Nepal, Himalaya in general has been center of great civilization, great socio-economic and cultural upheaval, great many empires. As my teacher Goenkaji in his short talk at UN video, he was referring to King Ashoka, one of the great emperors of India. They remind us of how great civilizations were born and they fell apart. Great many wars were fought. At the time of Buddha, Indian region had a very large population, great prosperous, fertile land, mighty rivers like Ganges, nourishing massive population, massive boom in construction, trade, art, exchange, and culture. As a result, chaos, economic upheaval, war, violence, and uncertainty arose as well. Throughout these centuries, so much changed in the continent. One very special small valley tucked away in the layers of the Himalayas and the mountains in Nepal, known in the ancient time as Nepal Mandala, a hidden gem in the mountains. Neva people, as they are known, they are the native most denizens of this small valley. They lived in this very difficult to reach at the time valley, and they became a refuge for all the cultural ideas, all the beauty, art, literature that existed. When the great Buddhist monastic universities in India and the meditation centers, they fell victim to the war and chaos and violence. Great many teachers, they sought refuge in the valley of Kathmandu. And people that we call Neva today, they welcome them with open arms, offer their homes and places and their cultures of generosity. Over the years, they have become refuge of so much cultural knowledge that we might have lost. In fact, today I work with several scholars some of our German scholars working together. We're trying to piece nowadays some of the lost wisdom cultures. The dates about 2000 years ago. Books on healing, books on agriculture, books on human relationship and such, ancient poetry. Quite a few of them, very famed scriptures that we have heard of in myths and legends. Quite a few of them, they were found tucked away in small, humble homes of Newari people in Kathmandu. In today's world, Newari community, they are known as master sculptors. They still today practice a very ancient form of smelting various metals together to hand carve some of the finest bronze, metal, copper statues in the world. They're excellent artists. This small community helped Tibet to write and develop its new script. Such beautiful gem. To come here, to join, and to see the newer communities, the members from the community here, trying to revive, trying to carry on the culture in Canada. It's a humbling experience for me. So I wanted to sort of introduce you to the great legacy they carry. Now Buddha I would say most of Newari people, they have great love and respect for the Buddha. Even on the Buddha Jayanti or the celebration of the birth of the Buddha, in the hot and humid Tarai, Lumbini, every year thousands of Newari people travel out of the valley to come and visit the place. I was summoned here to give talk on the teachings of the Buddha, but those are some very almighty shoes to fill in. I dare not say that I fully comprehend what he taught, or that I could teach it in its entirety. But what I know for sure is that we as human beings, we as member of human species, we often have to wonder about what life is all about, what our society is all about, what ideas like race, ethnicity, religion, spirituality, what are they all about? It's very easy to summarize Buddha as the founder of a religion, Buddhism. It would be a narrow overlook. It would be a far sight to see Buddha in such a way. He represents much more. If we look at the society today in the world, I believe we are in a very chaotic transition. Transition in the sense that we don't know how long this will last. We're going through some very difficult socio-economic upheaval in the world. And the tragedy is that we do not have any clear, even political agendas that we can rely on. Our best of the values seem to be falling apart to the needs in the world. While we have, at one hand, great prosperity, great innovation in technology, ability to transcend all mundane boundaries, so to say, and yet millions of people are forced to leave their homes, their lands, migrate, just clutching barely few valuable possessions to seek shelter, to seek hope for a new life somewhere. We don't even have enough to feed them, let alone provide and take care of them. And yet, when we hear our political debates, when we hear the news, those challenges are not even part of the debate. They're not even part of discussion. On the other hand, if we look at the economic world, the rise of corporations, big errors. They are product of our own systems, socio, economic and political systems. It may seem that these challenges are very unprecedented. What history can teach us is that sometime, if we go back and look into our past, certain patterns repeat. 2,500 years ago, something similar was going on in the world. We may have forgotten. Great centers of civilization, for example, great civilization in China, in Mesopotamia, in ancient India. To some scale, they were all going through these massive changes, somewhat very similar to today's. In India, for example, two very big issues that were prevalent. One of them was the rise of rich bankers. There is an example in one of the talks of the Buddha. There were 18 great cities and empires in ancient India. Among them, the richest one of them was known as Shravasti, what we would call today the New York of ancient India. Now the emperor, the ruler of the richest kingdom in ancient India, he was poorer. The whole state was poorer than 8 individuals in the city who were traders and bankers, the rich merchants. They paid their taxes, but the more money they had, the more wealth they piled up. The scriptures, they mention that they had so much gold that even the king cannot guarantee their safety. They would build fortified walls and put the gold between 2 walls. The king knew, the kingdom knew, but there was no solution to it. They knew they were growing more powerful. But it was all legal. They were paying taxes. They were following every law known to the human. And yet there was no solution to it. And any sane and intelligent person could predict 20 years later they are going to be much more powerful. The more wealth you have, the more money you make. And yet there were people starving and struggling in the town. When people died, a lot of families didn't even have enough money to cremate them. They would bring them to the rivers. Not only this, not only economic challenge. At the time, India, another emperor known as Bimbisara, or Sainiya Bimbisara as they called him, he had a different idea. He started what we can call today the first trained military institution. Before that, when the kings needed to fight a war, the civilians would volunteer and join, pick up the arms race. But this king had a different idea. He started paying salary. He began with a very humble number, 3,000 military personnel, trained them, had them ready and armed, and they were ready to strike at a moment's notice before the other kingdom even had the time to summon people. Slowly he started enveloping, taking over all the smaller kingdoms. Eventually the 18 great empires of India, they were reduced to 2. People didn't know how to stop him. This massive institution of militaries. China, they were going through the same thing. They invented gunpowder. They invented all kind of weaponry in ancient China. Developed an army, became so powerful, no reason, no logic, no culture, no civilization could stand against this hunger for more power and ambition. The same things were happening all over the world. But if we look deeply in the history at the time, something interesting was emerging. It was a different world. They did not have internet. They did not have ancient India. There were a great many thinkers arising out of it. Gautama, the Buddha. A man born in the humble forests of Nepal, a member of a royal family, he couldn't help. He started thinking, what is this all about? sometimes we often tend to be poetic about these teachers. We tend to idealize them. We forget to look at them practically. Buddha wasn't a poetic person to begin with. He was a pragmatic fellow. He didn't leave his family. He lived, married, had a child, spent 29 years of his life trained, groomed to become the next heir of his kingdom. So you can see his thinking. He's studying what's around. He's studying what society is like. He's studying what other kingdoms are doing. What is the duty of a governor? What do you do as a ruler? How do you create peace, prosperity? And he can't help but notice, how do you solve this great inequality created by the system itself? A massive pile of wealth, power struggle, armies and war. How do you resolve it? You can't go to a massive, powerful country and say, hey, I believe in peace. Don't fight with me. There is no opportunity for anyone to listen to peace. In a similar way, in ancient China too, great many people started thinking. Lao Tzu, Confucius, everywhere in the world. Today I would request you to please think about it, look into it. It's one of the most miraculous incidents that ever occurred in the history of humanity. If you put all the historical timeline together, you will see that in that span of about 200, 250 years, going at that ancient time, great many thinkers were rising out of the blue everywhere in the world to think, to envision, give us a direction forward. Gautama the Buddha, he was one of the greatest champions. Champion in the sense that not because he preached a very coordinated, very nicely edited, written, thought about system of philosophy. He didn't even have a philosophy to begin with. He became popular. He was pragmatic. People found an appeal in him because he talked about the very basic thing. He asked the question, what is it to be a human? What is it to be a person? What is love? What is ambition? What is greed? What is jealousy? What is the sense of existence? What is the idea of a being that I am? And how it creates all the projections that we see in the society. To him he said, whatever we see around is not a mere accident, but it is created out of us individuals. It's created out of communities. It's created out of complex structures that we help to create. He talked about a person. His message is still very relevant in the sense Buddha begins with that one could believe in the idea of peace. One could read literature, scripture, one could go and show books on peace. One could get a degree in peace. There is no guarantee they will lead to peace. It says the effort has to be individual. You have to look into yourself. You have to look into your own existence and see, how am I living my life? Who am I? How did I inherit my habitual patterns? How do I think, feel, and act? Is there a more balanced way to live for me? Buddha offered a cognitive path, what is known as tools for well-being today. Meditation. But meditation alone doesn't define Buddha. It would be such a pedifying thing. If we reduce Buddha to just meditation alone, we have misunderstood a being. He's far more complex in the sense. He offers a holistic approach that is spiritual, that is social, that is also personal, that is also cognitive exercise into self-management. As I said before, I cannot dare to try and teach what he taught. But over the years, I have become a great believer in few things. One of them, that he did live very genuinely. He asked very fresh, raw questions. Next, throughout his life, he had no time for dogma, to me a belief, to me a tradition alone. He looked into things and said, what does really matter? What is the most essential for a healthy human society? He taught us morality, but not for the sake of complying to something, not out of fear, but a sense of a general healthy morality. What is it to do wrong to somebody? He taught meditation, but not about an idea, not to meditate upon an imagined creation of our own mind, but to meditate upon what's here and now, who we are. He taught us what we can call wisdom, but not some imagined and learned wisdom in a textbook. He cajoled us, he inspired us to cultivate our own wisdom, to grow our own wisdom here and now, to test it, to try it. It would be a shame if we forget the gems of our humanity. These are hard-learned lessons. Buddha was not a product of only some family. One Sakya family in Lumbini, in Kapilvastu, Buddha was not just the product of his parents. Otherwise, his father would have ended up having a good ruler. That's what his father wanted, a good next ruler after him. He didn't want a Buddha. Buddha is a product of what the society was going through at the time, and one person who had the courage, the strength to open his heart to all the difficulties and the injustice and equality in the world, to look deeply, and had the courage to go and search years and years to find if there is hope for humanity. He is a product of humanity at large at the time. I believe such questions will be asked of us too. Our children, our next generation, when they grow here, they travel around the world, we may shelter them from all the pain and challenge as parents and guardians, but we cannot ensure, especially in today's connected world, that they will not read the news, they will not hear the political squabble going on throughout the world, that they will not hear of racial issues, that they will not hear of gender issues and poverty and inequality in the world. We cannot shelter them forever from this. But what we can do is, we can try and bring in a culture of good judgment to help them grow a healthy sense of understanding of what is wrong and what is right. Not because of our ethnic, social identities, not because of our culture and our cultural identity, but because of humanity. It's good to remember the Buddha. He was a giant of a human, I believe. But nothing supernatural, nothing miraculous. The miracle was that he lived among the most poor people in ancient India, and yet he lived very content. He lived among the great emperors and rulers as their teachers, but he lived very humble, very low. The greatest miracle is that he guided and trained a community of over 1 million followers every day. Imagine having 2 kids. He had millions. They bring all their emotional issues to him. When the teenagers bring their emotional issues, it's good, it's okay. You can feel a sense of pride, oh yeah, he's coming to me, she's coming to me for this. But when grown-ups, 60-year-olds, they bring their emotional problems to you, oh my. The greatest miracle was that he lived among such people, millions of them. From early morning till he goes to bed, sometime at 1 p.m., 2 a.m. in the morning. He talks and counsels everybody. And yet, for their hospitality, for their generosity, and for their love to the Buddha, to remember his life, to celebrate, to commemorate. Thank you all.
you very much for your presence here in our program and sharing your fascinating story as well as teaching about the Buddhism and that period. So we didn't know, we have never listened. That's a great opportunity to learn about those things. Thank you very much again. I'd like to request Dr. I. Gurung to come forward and do your performance about musical presentation. Dr. I. Gurung and Dr. Dipesh Test also. We are almost end of the program, so after this we'll have water tanks and we have bhojan dan and lunch.
Jodolko, namaskar, good day. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to present my small program. I am trying to play one religious song. It's called bhajan. The bhajan I am going to play is Ani Soin Tolmaz Pulko Ahama Sansara. I believe the wordings of this, most of you already are aware of this, is have been taken from Buddha's teachings. So I believe this is the most appropriate time for to play this bhajan now.
Neva Cultural Society of Alberta. I would really like to thank Guruma and Monday. And especially I would like to thank Mr. Rabindra, who really did a very good job on organizing this event. I would like to give him a big thanks. After that, I would like to thank all of you for coming here and participating and make this event a grand success. And thank you very much for helping our this program, especially our ladies who is helping to manage this potluck event as well. Thank you very much, everyone.